Hey, what's up? How's it going? I just wanted to give you my reaction to that whole smart serve, smart choices thing that I did yesterday. Finally got my certificate for this, pretty much just for the hell of it, like I did my test, ended up getting like 98% or something like that, which is a plus. Usually I get like 85%. That was always like my kind of like average when it came to school, 85%. But anyways, here's what to expect when you do that whole smart serve business kind of stuff. For the most part, I think of it as like common sense and common knowledge for the most part, but ultimately like this is the kind of stuff that I hope my son learns in grade 12, like obviously like in grade 12 he should get his like certificate for like CPR, his certificate for like serving it safe, his certificate for like serving like cannabis safely and all that stuff. Like even though he won't have that option to like have those jobs until he's 18, like this is pretty much common sense kind of stuff as far as like the smart serve and stuff like that goes. WIMIS, all that jazz, fucking CPR, right? Like all that. It's like I think that they should be teaching this kind of stuff in school for like grade 12 basically before you graduate. They should have like a certifications course in every fucking school in grade 12, and they should fucking teach you all these things and give you the option to have these certificates the way they gave me the option to have my license when I was 15 and a half at the school. Like the school got me my license when I was 15 and a half, stuff like that. Like that totally works. I love that. Okay, to smart serve. When you do smart serve, you're gonna get a bunch of modules, and when you're doing those modules, they all each have a different section and stuff like that. Ultimately, if you want to pass the test, all you gotta do is read every fucking word. That's it. It's super fucking easy. There's no like, I'm not bragging about anything here. This is literally just my review about smart choices and what it is. Like module 1 was about like blood alcohol concentration, sometimes called blood alcohol content, and it also like kind of gives you drinking guidelines, like why is a shot of whiskey the same alcohol content as a half a glass of wine? Why is a half a glass of wine the same alcohol content of a full glass of beer? More or less is what they're kind of doing with module 1. You kind of learn the ropes there. Now module 2 is about identifying the signs of intoxication of the patrons that come into your establishment. Wherever you're working, whatever you're doing, you gotta realize like when somebody is like too drunk to be continuing drinking, and you gotta like take that responsibility to help them and like deal with, and it helps you like develop strategies of what to do and how to deal with intoxicated people. That's typically what module number 2 is kind of about. Now as for module number 3 and 4, these are my favorites. Module number 3 and 4 is about responsible gaming and how the house always has that 7% edge. Like if you spend $1 at the machines, typically on average for every $1 that is spent, the house is going to take like 7 cents of that dollar, and you're only going to walk away with 93 cents overall, typically on an average. That's like literally like the mathematical fucking quote that they give these random number generators that are inside of these VLT machines and all that shit. That's sort of what like module number 3 and module number 4 is for. Like module number 4 is more about like, here's the tip for problem gambling. You got a problem gambling? Here's the 1-800 number. Or like, stuff like that, basically identifying who has a fucking problem gambling kind of thing. Like me, for example. I don't have a problem gambling, but like, like I love it. I do it on UFC all the time. That's why module number 3 and 4, it was my absolute favorite. It was about gambling and all that stuff. It really relates to my life. So that's what module number 3 and 4 are about responsible gaming and gambling and identifying who has a problem gambling and all that jazz. And now as for module number 5, module number 5 is more about like IDing people properly, because you don't want people who are like under the age of 18 to be on your establishment, because you will get a fine for that if you do serve to minors, if you do that. And like this, your boss really does not want a fine. You don't want to go down that road. So just, if somebody looks younger under than 18, even if they don't, sometimes just ID them for the hell of it anyway, is basically what the module number 5 says. That's another good one. Now module number 6 is arguably the most important to anybody that hires you, because it's about like the liability that the businesses face. Like it'll fucking teach you, like it'll teach you things like about the standards for the legal issues about a business being fucking responsible for its patrons. For example, there was a case for this one guy, like he drank at an establishment and then he drove home drunk and then he fucking ended up a paraplegic and stuff like that, and the establishment was like 33% responsible for the accident, basically, because it's like, why'd you let this guy drive home? Basically, that's sort of what number 6 is about, that whole fucking liability issue. Your boss is gonna love that one. That's the one that you want to like know like the most, right? Like, and mix that with IDs and all that stuff. It's all important. It's all good stuff. Okay, now as for module number 7, module number 7 is about like safety and security and about handling emergencies properly. Like, for example, you got a bouncer at most of these places that you go to, right? Like, you know, you got some sort of security there, and those security guards, they're not supposed to use excessive force. When it comes to like the bouncer and security, like, people are there to have a good time. That's what a bar is about. A bar is not about fighting. A bar is not about like violence. It's not about that kind of stuff. A bar is literally for people to go have a good time, spend their hard-earned money, and fucking like have a drink and like let loose. That's sort of what that one's about. Module 7 is about safety and security and how to handle these situations, and the fact that we can restrain somebody until like the police come and deal with the emergency and stuff like that if you're a bouncer or whatever you're going into. But ultimately, that was my quick review of smart choices, that whole smart serve thing. I only got like 98%. Damn it, I wish I got 100%, but it was one of those fucking questions where it was like A, B, C, all of the above, and I decided to select all of the above because it seemed like all of the above worked, and that's the only reason I didn't get 100%. Fuck. But ultimately, like, smart serve is like based on like almost common sense, and like I recommend it to anybody just to have it for the hell of it. Like, even if you're not going for that kind of job, just fucking go buy it anyways. It's kind of interesting and it's fun, and you know, I was gonna do that with a few other certificates and shit like that, but ultimately, smart serve MB, smart choices MB, totally worth it. Give it a shot, try it out. It's $45, and like with tax, it's like $49.30 roughly. So thank you for listening. That's my review of smart choices today.